right here. You're going to be a motivational speaker for the night. You got to be motivated.
I got this mic right here. Hey, Poncho, if I get too long, can you hit the drop? Then that way I know to cut it.
HHF.
There you go. How everybody doing? My name is Sean. I'm out of Baltimore. What I do is teach people how to make $250,000 a year with a criminal record and no college degree. But tonight I'm going to be speaking on how to achieve your goals. I got 17 principles of success as written out by Napoleon Hill, illustrated through me, which I'm going to translate for y'all so you can use how you're going to use it. The 17 principles are definite major purpose, mastermind alliance, applied faith, going the extra mile, pleasing personality.
Mic, just like y'all do in Clubhouse. The mic is on. I need y'all to be quiet, please.
Appreciate that. Pleasing personality, positive mental attitude, enthusiasm, self-discipline, accurate thinking, controlled attention, teamwork, adversity and defeat, creative vision, health, budgeting time and money, and habit, cosmic habit force. The first principle is a definite major purpose. Everybody in here got a car, got a GPS on it. Well, the thing about that GPS, it'll get you anywhere on this planet, but you had to have an address. There's no way that you can become successful aimlessly, out here aimlessly. You gotta know specifically what you want and where you wanna go. So everybody in here should have a goal card. You should be in the mirror every morning, reading your goals to yourself, hypnotizing your mind for success, and convincing yourself that you are the person that you're gonna become. Because that's who you are. You are exactly who you think you are. Number two, mastermind alliance. There's a difference between having a group and having a mastermind alliance. A mastermind alliance is a team of people that works around you that are 100% dedicated to achieving a goal that you all agreed to set out to. And in order for a mastermind to work, it can be no conflict, no backbiting, no envy, no jealousy, no thievery. None of that's going to work. If you ever have a team and you find somebody that's iffy, or you just don't feel right about them and you don't have a reason why, get them out of there because they're going to destroy your whole mission. Number three, applied faith. Faith is believing in something that you don't see. So your goal is here. You don't know what it looks like until you get there. But knowing now that you have your definite major purpose, you're moving in faith, walking towards it because you know you're going to get it. Because why? What the man just said, God. Because you believe in God and you believe in yourself, and that's giving you the fuel for you to step out in faith in order for you to achieve your goals. Going the extra mile. This is a principle I learned back in the drug game. If somebody else was selling a bag for $10 and I went and got a key or a pound of reefer or a ton of reefer or whatever it is, and instead of wholesaling it, I broke down bags the same size as his and sold them for half the price. Who do you think they're gonna come to? Exactly, it's the same thing in business. Give people more than they pay for. Give them better quality, cheaper prices, be more consistent, more honest, and more transparent. And people, you gotta give people an offer they can't refuse. So that way when you're doing business and you're out there, we all competing. We're in the marketplace. You wanna give people every reason to come and do business with you. You gotta make the deal so sweet that they would be foolish to deal with somebody else. That's how you get it. That's how you create a whole lot of traffic. And when you got the traffic coming in, you can monetize off of it. Even if the profit margins are low, you make up on it on the back end because you bring high values. All right? Pleasing personality. Nobody wants to spend money with somebody they don't like. Any of y'all ladies in here go to beauty salons? Do you want to spend money with somebody you consider to be a bitch?
No.
No, I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. What I'm saying is, if I don't like you and I don't want to be around you, every time I come around, you gossiping about somebody, you talking about somebody else, what I think you're doing when I'm not around. People don't like to be around people that have negative attitudes. And your net worth is your net worth, as they keep saying. So the more friendly you are, not friendly, because I'm not friendly. The more likable you are, the more easier you are to get along with, the more people you interact with because they want to interact with you. The more people you interact with, the more dollars you have an opportunity to exchange, because there's only one place you're going to get money, and that's from other people or organizations, and organizations are run by people. So if people don't like it, you're not going to get that money. And if you do, you're not going to get it but for so long. personal initiative. Nobody should have to tell you to get up and do what you already know you need to do for yourself. You know, I mentor a lot of young men, and it's a shame that you gotta tell people the smallest little things that they should already know. But that's how society is today. So if you over here and you competing against the whole world and people are operating at a mediocre level, who you think gonna excel? You know, any industry I get into, I excel because I do the things necessary to make myself stand out amongst the crowd. And it's not always about talent. You gotta separate yourself from the crowd. Positive mental attitude. Your mind is a magnet. Whatever the Bible even tells you to focus on that which is good. Why does it tell you that? Because what you think about is what you draw into your life. You are a human magnet. If you have in a relationship with somebody that you don't like, or you keep getting the same as that kind of guy over and over and over again, it's not him, baby girl, it's you. That person is a reflection of you, and it goes the same thing for men. You know, you keep finding yourself in jail, every other year you locked up. Why? Because that's who you believe that you are. You gotta think positive, because everything, we dealing with music, and we are energy, and we dealing on levels of frequency. And your thought is a frequency. Whatever you think about, that's what you're gonna bring out. If it's a book, all y'all should get, if you got a chance, it's called As a Man Thinketh. Enthusiasm. You gotta be hyped up about what you're doing. If you're not excited about your product, why would somebody else be? If you don't think you're the best artist in the world, or you're the best engineer, or you got the best clothing line, or the best radio station, why would anybody else believe it? You gotta be hyped up and convinced that you are the best, because you are the best. If you wasn't, you wouldn't be here. You know, God gave all of us a special purpose. And if you didn't have one, you wouldn't be here, because this is not an event for any and everybody. There's no stragglers in here. Everybody's here for a reason. So when you get in this room, shake everybody's hand, introduce yourself, because we conduct a business and get people numbers, because you can make money with people. If everybody in here got $1,000, how many people is in here? 50? You know, 100? You know, it's potential for millions in this room, aside from the people who already got money that they just not putting on display because they don't want that type of attention. You never know who you're sitting next to. So believe in yourself, be hyped up about your product, be convinced that you are the best, display that to people, and get out here and meet people, because the only place you're gonna get money is from other people. Self-discipline. It's three main areas you wanna be disciplined in. You wanna be disciplined in your eating, in your money spending, and your sexual habits. And the reason I say that is because look at the majority of people who make it big, and they make these millions of dollars. Some of them billionaires. What takes them down? Cheating on their wife, or having some type of extramarital affair. The next thing you know, 30 years worth of work is gone to somebody they only knew for 3-4 years. All that work is gone down the drain. Also spending. You know, your inflow can't exceed your outflow. You need to be bringing in more than you putting out. Because if you bringing in $1,000 a day and you spending $1,500, how long are you gonna run? Can you run a car on E and you keep running it every day, but you're not putting no gas in? You gotta be bringing in more than you putting out, and also your eating habits. Because if you get into biblical scriptures, and I don't want to get too deep into that, but that's what my foundation is. If you can control your tongue, you can control anything. The reference is talking about your speech, controlling the words that you say, but you also eat with your tongue. And if you can tame your tongue, you can tame any area in your life. That's why people fast, so they can break themselves down and get back into normal habits. Accurate thinking. You wanna whenever you bring in information, you wanna distinguish the difference between true and false, fact and fiction. All right. Now, once you do your research and see, well, is this legitimate information? Okay, it comes from information to true information. Now you got true information, but all true information isn't important information. If you're in the music industry, why do you need a full library about pets? You need to concentrate your mind and focus on what you're trying to achieve. Because like I said earlier, what you think about is what you're going to bring to you. And what controls what you think about, what you feed your mind. That's why if you want to be in the music industry or any industry for that matter, you want to feed yourself information about that industry. You want to read those books, those periodicals. You want to join those associations. And then you want to create alliances with other people who are in that same industry so your thought process can be continually directed in the direction that you're going. Accurate thinking. Controlled attention. Focus. We just finished talking about accurate thinking, but you also want to focus. Now, I always use the analogy of the sun. The sun heats us all up, but if you take a magnifying glass, you can focus it into a laser beam and create a fire. That's what you want to. You ever hear them talk about artists and they say he on fire? You trying to be on fire, you spending 1 hour in the studio, you spending 13 hours playing the game. That's not no knock. You know, but I don't play games, but if you do, that's not a knock. I'm just using that as an analogy. But you want to focus all your time and energy on what you're doing. That's why you hear about people living in studios. I was just watching an interview a couple days ago when the Migos was getting started. They moved out of their house into the studio. Wow, they was focused. What was they doing all day? Focusing on music, 24 hours a day. If you want to be successful in anything, that's how you do it. We just had a conversation the other day. Who you at, Pop? You was talking about King the strip club. You was working every day. Focus. Your attention. That's what your attention was, and that's how you became the king, because all your time and attention was focused in one area. All right, controlled attention. Teamwork. Teamwork is different from a mastermind. A mastermind is people that's dedicated their whole entire life to y'all achieving one goal. But teamwork is working together. And what's unique about teamwork is, if we are exhibiting teamwork, I don't have to like you. We don't have to be friends, but we got one common goal, and that's to get the job done. And once the job is done, we can disperse and go our own different ways. And you got to be man enough or woman enough to be able to put your personal differences to the side and say, hey, we got to get to this money. I don't particularly favor you that much, and I don't really care if you favor me, but we're going to leave that for later, and we're going to get this money today, because that's what's more important than whether or not I like you or whether or not you like me. That's what teamwork is. If you watch sports, a lot of the players on the teams don't get along, but they work together. Wow, they're trying to win that championship. So they got an end goal that they're working towards. So you're going to run across people out here that you're just not going to like for no reason. And there's people that's not going to like you. If you're too good at what you do, you're going to run across people that don't like you all the time. And they're not going to have no valid reason to not like you. That's just the way life is. And you got to deal with it. Adversity and defeat. If you survey your life and stroll all the way back to your childhood and look at all the worst things that ever happened to you in life, if you analyze them carefully, you find out those things were really the best things that ever happened to you. Because you got to look at this. Would you give a 16-year-old child a Corvette even if you can afford it, just because they want it? Sometimes God will hold things back from you. He'll let you get close to it so you can see what the future got for you, but hold it because you ain't ready yet. If you get it, you're going to wreck. You know, you get too much money too fast, it's going to go to your head. Too much power too fast. Anything you get too fast, your own vanity is going to get in there, and you're going to self-destruct. So sometimes He will hold it back. But also, you got to look at a bow and arrow. A bow and arrow, you pull it back maybe 12 inches, but that bow shoots 200, 300 feet. So whenever something happened to you that you feel as though it was unjust or you don't believe it should have worked out the way it worked, take a step back, look at the situation objectively, and observe and see what can you learn from this. What was the reason for this? Sometimes you can lose a job because if you wouldn't have lost that job, you would have never quit on your own, and that's what you needed to be prepared in order for you to become an entrepreneur and work for yourself. We looking through life with an iPhone. God's looking with a satellite. You can't see all the different obstacles out here, but guess what? He can. So don't get discouraged when things happen that's not to your liking. Roll with the punches, keep going, and in the end, you're gonna come out on top because quitters never win and winners never quit. And the only real way to lose is to stop. Because as long as you breathe and as long as you got life in you, you got a chance to do more and to get more. Create a vision. I talked earlier about standing out amongst the crowd. Now, you look at the businesses today, you look at Alibaba, you look at Uber, you look at Airbnb. They were being imaginative, they were being creative. You gotta be creative if you wanna stand out with your music. That's why you see a lot of people doing these social media antics. Not that I agree with it, but they're trying to be creative in the way that they're drawing attention. And there's two forms of creativity. There's synthetic imagination and there's creative imagination. Synthetic imagination is where you take two old ideas and you put them together in a new way. All right, so we got the guy right there, he got a phone. That's a cell phone. But they used to have Polaroid cameras and they used to have rotary phones in the house. Somebody was creative, had imagination, and put those two ideas together. And the iPhone, how many billionaires has that created? You know, that's what you gotta think about when you're in your music career. How can you do what you're doing different? That's the drop.
The king of the strip clubs.
What's up with my man, son?